Hey folks, hope you're having a great week. So yesterday we posted information essentially reminding all you business owners out there that it's time to file your annual report and it's time to look at doing an annual compliance review. So I wanted to address that a little bit more today in today's video. Why it's important to take a look at your business, take a look at your documents on an annual basis. So with businesses that are incorporated, and incorporated I mean either an LLC or a corporation, which can include a PA or an actual non-professional corporation. But today we're just focusing on LLCs, and in particular focusing on LLCs that are owned by a single member or yeah, a couple, a husband and wife typically, that tends to act like a single unit. So when we form these companies, the primary reason for that is for liability protection. We want to have that entity be the shield between any potential liability and our personal assets. So that's why we form it. And the law says that's great. You'll enjoy that protection, but you have to be a real live actual business. You have to be a real entity and not just a fiction that you created to hide the fact that you're actually conducting your business on a personal individual level. So what makes this especially important is you have to look and act like an actual company. And what do actual companies do? Actual companies have written documents, they have governing documents. LLCs have an operating agreement. When companies do things, they typically have meetings and resolutions, and they agree, they document a variety of things that go on throughout the year, especially the major events, and they keep their records booked, they keep all the minutes, annual member resolutions, those sorts of things. That's typically what a company does. And so, if something should happen and the question of whether or not you're entitled to this shield comes into play, you're going to hope that everything has been done by the books and is up to date. There are different levels of compliance. Typically, they're all scalable, meaning, if you're just a single owner, couple owner, and you do a few $100,000 a year, you're small scale necessarily, and the things that a court would look for you to have done might be less significant than other larger companies. So first thing, the most critical is if you are an LLC, whether you have one, two, or multiple members, you need to make sure you have an actual operating agreement in place. It needs to align with what you're doing, your management preferences, your ownership split preferences, those sorts of things. So what I find is that many people who form their own LLCs don't actually take that extra step and prepare an operating agreement. So if nothing else, that's the first thing you need to do, probably the most critical component of acting and looking like you're an actual real life organized business. The next thing is generally to have an annual meeting. Most of these things you don't actually physically have to meet. You just have to put something down on paper acknowledging the fact that all the members met, which seems kind of silly if you're a sole member entity, but you still do it. And basically you say everything throughout the year has been approved and yada, yada, yada. But you have something documented. You've taken the extra step to make it look like an actual business. Um, Third thing you can do is any major events throughout the year, major purchases, anything you did to finance, any investments, anything that is out of the ordinary, or anything that's part of your ongoing business operations, but is more significant than just the day-to-day, it's probably a good idea to make note of it and to document it and keep it in your corporate records. Bottom line is, um, it's not just a promotion. It's not just something that I do to try and create business or create headaches for folks, but it's sharing, the things that are important when you own a business, the things that you should be doing. And just because you've been in business for X number of years and you've never had any issues, if it ain't broke, why fix it? It's like anything else we do. If you take insurance, for example, you spend all your years spending all this freaking money on insurance premiums, and everyone out there probably hopes that they never have to make a claim, but you do it anyway because that's what you do. It's the just in case, it's the what ifs, and it's there when you need it. Similar situation with businesses and your corporate records and keeping everything up to date. It's important to be done. If you're not doing it, you should be doing it. Um, Even if you recreate for prior years, it's important to have, and this is especially critical for the single member and couple owned LLCs because there's even more of a tendency to act on an individual basis outside the scope of the legal structure. And so courts will tend to take more scrutiny when they're looking at your business, looking at your operations. And so you almost need to take the extra steps more than you would normally take for, say, 3 or 4 plus member LLC. Anyway, I know this was long, but it's important for you to understand it. I'm happy to chat with anyone, help you get up to speed. But the critical component here is this is something that you need to do every year. You need to make sure everything uh, is in place. And essentially, you need to make it look like you're making an effort to be an actual entity. So enjoy your day and stay tuned for tomorrow's video because that one, um, this one was titled, single member and couple member LLCs, why you're special. And tomorrow's video is about PAs, which are professional associations, and incorporations, INCs, those sorts of things. Tomorrow's video is about why you are super duper special because you have it even worse. So stay tuned. Bye bye.